So I think New Zealand is in this really unique place in the space game because you have both the work of the New Zealand Space Agency working with other governments and academic partners like JPL. You have things like rocket labs in the commercial space that's actually making a lot of this possible, and so you actually get the full end-to-end spectrum of space participation in New Zealand. And I think it's really exciting, both obviously on the academic side, that we can work together on the science that we can do, but also the science isn't just about astronomy and just isn't about other planets, it's also about our own planet. And so thinking about like cyclones and sea level rise, there's a lot of work that we do even right here at JPL that uses satellites to study our home planet, that I think is a great place to start getting involved in. That you might think, oh, I study earth science, I study rocks, I can go on a mountaintop to study it, but actually you can do that from space. So I think the opportunities to get involved are actually broader than most people might think. And a lot of it, I do think, comes from being in research programs, whether those are independent projects with local university professors or coming and doing an internship. So I know I keep talking about internships as being great, but I think that is one way that everybody, myself included, you as well, have found to sort of broaden your world and get beyond your little bubble. Because whether you're in New Zealand or Oklahoma or Los Angeles, we each have our own little bubbles that you're not really aware of what else is out there. And so coming and seeing, the Huygens, Cassini models up close is one way that you get a broader sense of the world.
And I guess one thing that's been really cool to see here is how much of the technology at JPL can be applied to other things that aren't just astrophysics, as you kind of mentioned, that like we can do climate science with a lot of the technology that's developed here. We can use that same technology for different applications, like medical technology has been developed through stuff that was originally developed for space. So by like supporting and working in technology, you push like all sectors forward at the same time, which I think is really powerful.
And I think it's one of these cool things is that when you go to school, you can choose a major, right? You can study physics, or you can study math or engineering. They seem very distinct, but when you're building a spacecraft, right, its goal is to do science, but you need all of the engineering to get there. And so I think that is one difference about being in maybe a space-related field, is that the science and engineering come together a lot more closely than they would on a ground-based telescope or other exploration. So.
Yeah. Definitely. Like one of my biggest things when I was at university was that I took some computer science and I took some maths as well as doing my physics degree, and all of the skills that I learned from maths and from computer science has been really beneficial for my work here. So I guess I would say to anyone who doesn't quite know what they want to do is that take diverse options, because the skills that you pick up in other areas can be really beneficial for the work that you do in other areas.